Hello everyone, welcome to the today's session. So, uh, till yesterday we have gone through till the previous sessions we have gone through file handling, and then today also we are actually going to explore some more functionalities of some more topics related to file handling itself. So now let me note down what is the agenda for today. The agenda for today is we are going to explore file handling, and in the file handling, what are the things we have covered so far? Let's say file handling. In the file handling, it is handling. In the file handling, we are familiar with the basic read and write operations. Read and write operation. Today, today we are actually going to explore append. When I'm talking about read operation, basically, let me tell you, okay? Let me note it down like this way. Read operation. On the read operation, we have a read without anything. That means read the entire file content. Don't use it. If your file content is let's say some GB or a large amount of file, system cannot accommodate it, then you can actually specify read followed by n, where n is a number or chunk or character size, or you can define size. Right now read in chunks. Then we have another line like a read line, which will be reading one line at a time. That is read line. Then we have another method that is known as read lines. Read lines, what it is going to do? It is going to read the entire file content. If you are not specifying anything, entire file content, and store it in a list. We can iterate and then we can perform operations as per our requirement. Similarly, the write operation we do have two methods. One is write line, and then the second one is write lines. Write lines, and we'll explore now how to write lines to a file, and we'll just go ahead do that. Then then the modes we have read, write, append, then exclusive create. Then under read, we are having, if you are giving your text files, that is R, then R plus we can give read and write operations we can also do. Okay, R stands for read, basically, W stands for write, A stands for append, X stands for exclusive create. Here read is R and write is like W, append is A, and then exclusive create is X. And we can also add a plus sign. Like when we are giving R plus, that means it read and write. When we are giving W plus, W is only write, not read. So if you are giving W plus, it is both read and write. Then A as in append, it is not going to override the content in the existing file. It is going to append the content at the end of the file, end of the current file. If the file is not present, we'll see whether it is going to create or going to throw error and all. We'll actually explore that. Then exclusive create, if the file is present, exclusive create will be flagging that now the file is already present, so we'll be receiving error. And if the file is not present, with exclusive create option, it will be creating a file from the beginning. Okay, so from the scratch. If the file is not there, it will just create the new file basically. So now that's all about the high level thing. Similarly, we do have one option that is known as text mode. Text mode is actually T. So by default, when we are giving, let's say if I'm giving open sample file.txt, and if I'm giving here nothing, this is a default read mode. This is default read mode. If I'm giving or specifying exclusively If I'm exclusively specifying R, that means also it is a read mode. If I'm specifying exclusively R and T, it is also read mode. T is by default. T means it will treat it's a text file. Apart from that, we do have two basic file types in Python. One is text file, the other one is actually binary file. Text file and binary file. So text file operations we are going to learn first, and then followed by that we'll actually explore the options of binary file, and we'll deal with binary file, how to write the content to a binary file, and what is the use case of binary file, and all these things we are going to learn. So that's all about the options, whatever is actually available. Apart from this, we do have few methods we are going to explore. That is tell, which is going to tell what is the current position or cursor position, or control basically. Like while dealing with the file, you want to know where is the current cursor. Okay, so currently cursor position maybe 10 or 15 or at the end, at the beginning, we'll come to know. Then we do have check. We can change the position as well. Then apart from this, there are properties, file properties. File properties can be whether we are having write access, right? Is it writable? Is it readable? Is it seekable? And what is the name of the file? And various other options are actually available. We can actually do that. While dealing with the files, let's say for example, that's all fine. Like now we have created a lot of files. Then what if we want to rename the file? Like how do we do it? If I want to remove the file, how do I do it? Remove the directory, how do I do it? Right? And then if I want to copy, how to do it? Let's say if I want to list, how do I list the file? So list, copy, like if you are familiar, coming from a Linux background, then definitely you must be knowing cat to see the content, cp to copy, mv to rename, rm to remove, rm now we can actually use for removing a file and removing a directory with recursively right now with the content. We can execute rm-rf, and rmdir is going to create going to remove the empty dir. Okay, then similarly we do have mkdir, or you want to actually create directories with parent, let's say the structure c:/sudo, for example, /sudo /demo, let's say /data file /python.txt. When we are talking about the directory structure, that means the directory parent directory doesn't exist. Then in that case, what we can actually do is mkdir-p. We are using mkdir-p. Similarly, in Python, how do we do it? How do we create the directories, create dir, okay, and the structure and all these things we are going to learn today. Guys, remember, to do this, we need external libraries, because Python file handling is going to help us to read the content of file and all. But file handling by default doesn't provide any option how we are having open. We cannot actually have a remove method there and then remove the file. We cannot do that. We need to explicitly import certain libraries to do these operations. To do these operations, definitely we need OS library and then shutil. One type library is there. Okay, so now we'll see how to deal with all these operations today. So let us get started, and then we can actually write a program first. Okay, and let me write a program, and we'll go through the OS model, and these are the quick notes, and we'll just spend some time here as well. So don't worry, and let me create a file first. I mean Python file first. That's a file operation write. We are done with all the read operation. I'm just going to show you the write operations today. Now, I want to create a file from scratch. In the previous session, I mentioned how to create the file or how to read the file from the using open. Basically what we used like yesterday, let's say file descriptor. You can have any variable. I'm just using file descriptor, so that's the reason I'm just giving fd. If you want to give fn, you can actually give fn too. So this is just a variable, so file descriptor. Now just using like no open, and then I can specify what are the file I want to like deal with. Let's say I'm just giving c colon double slash and then python training, and then here I'm just giving right, giving let's say demo dot dat or demo dot txt file. Okay. Now in which mode I want to actually open? I want to open in write mode. Now I want to open in the write mode. Now here we go, write mode, and then here I'm just giving like the fd is like opening the file demo.txt in the write mode. If demo.txt is already present, it is going to overwrite the content. Okay, so now in this case, let us see like now how do we write the content. Okay, now I'm just giving fd dot write line, right line, right. It is like, I think I did a mistake over here. It is right, actually right lines, not right line, right lines. Okay, right and right lines. So it is right. I'm just giving here file write operations, write operation. This is a single line operation. Okay, single line. Now I'm just explicitly going to give a slash n here. Okay, that is what is needed. So here we go. fd.write is done. Now if I'm going to execute this program, let us see, if I'm executing this program, here you can see no error. But if I'm checking like whether the demo file has been created, I'm just checking like demo file created, it's saying file demo write operation single line. Okay. Now if I'm going to check here, where is that operations, right? So here we go. If I'm running this program again, what it is going to do, if the file is already present, let's say demo.txt is already present, now I'm just saying like I'm just writing to a existing file, writing data to the same file, to the same file. Now in this case, this file is present and it is having file write operation single line. Now we have actually changed it like now fd.write writing data to the same file. I'm just giving the use case like here. If I'm giving write, the file is present, system is not going to throw any error. System is going to override the content. Now if I'm running this program, let us see here, no error. If I go to demo.txt, here you can see writing data to the same file. So it is all gone. So demo.txt, now here you can see writing data to same file, and I cannot actually see anything else here, right? So the existing content has been deleted. Now, how do we control it? How do we control it as a programmer? How do we control it? Now, here I'm just going to define it. Define, okay, doing it in a better way. Define, let's say, write to file. Write to file. I'm just giving your file name. Here I need to check if the file is already there. This is an exclusive write operation. Okay, we are not checking if the file is there or not. So now write to file method will be taking a call. If the file is present, don't delete anything. If the file is not there, then create the file. Okay, this is what we are actually going to do now. So now write to a file, we are taking the parameter fname. Fname is nothing but a function parameter. Okay, so now here we are giving if the file is present. How do I tell like file is present? How to check that? So to check this, definitely we need a OS library, import OS. Okay, we'll go in some time. I'll just give you example of OS, so nothing to worry. So now here I'm just giving OS library. Now OS dot here I'm just checking like path dot exists. If path exists, which file? Let's say this is nothing but our fname. If fname is present, then what we need to do, if okay, one moment here, we can actually say it should be if os.path exists and file name. Okay, if it is true, then we can actually do some operation. Let's say open the file. Okay, open the file in the uh, append mode. Let's say a mode. Okay, now if the file is not present, then we can actually do else fd equals to the same file, and we are hard coding it. We should not hard code. We should actually use the fname. Now look at here. Now we are telling system, like if the file is present, open in append mode. If the file is not present, open in write mode. Done. So now it is all done. Now what we need to do, we need to write some data over there, right? So now here I'm just appending it. Let's say I'm just giving fd dot write, appending the content, example of append. Okay, example of append. Now here I'm just giving the same file. Here I'm just giving this a new file. I'm just giving sorry, here I'm just giving fd dot write again, and just giving your fd dot write example of write operation. Nothing. I do not have a demo.txt file. This demo.txt file is already there. I'm just going to create demo1.txt file. Now I'll just call the function write to file. Here I'm just giving c://demo. Okay, I'm just going to Python training, Python underscore training, I believe. Python underscore training, and then / demo1.txt. Okay, so now if I'm having demo1.txt file here, this is my input to the write method. This is the write method, and then here file name is nothing but our demo1.txt. Even we don't know if demo1 is actually present. If demo1 is not present, it will do the write operation. If demo1 is actually present, it will do the append operation. Let us run the program and see, like Control Shift F10. Here you can see there'll be no output. Now I'm not printing explicitly anything here. We can do that and then cross check too, but nothing is there. Now here you can see one thing. One moment. Here we can see demo1.txt file. Okay, now demo.txt file, let me close it. Here you can see example of write operation. Now if I go to the same program again and run it, let's say Control Shift F10, if I'm running the program here, and we do not know what is there in my demo.txt file. It is saying example of append. Now if I'm running this program again, it is not going to override the data. It is going to create another line, example of append. Now if I'm going to do again, run the program, here you can see it is saying an example of append. So now with this, we understood if the existing file is there, we want to actually append content, we can actually do it. Now the requirement is, okay, I want to actually read the content instead of switching between the input file and then the program file over here. We want to actually have another read method here. We can definitely define let's say read from file, I'm just giving your file name. We can actually have file name here, and then we can say directly what we need to do. We can directly use fd, the file descriptor. One mistake we are actually doing, guys, remember always after doing this is not a syntax error or nothing, but it is the best practice while dealing with the file in this way. Now we are opening it and we are not using with keyword, then we should actually close it explicitly. Now fd.close, we need to give fd.close here and fd.close here. so that the descriptor will get closed. Now let me open the file in the read mode. I can actually directly copy paste this code. Here we go, fd.open file in the read mode because our requirement is only read. Now here we need to read all the lines, so I can actually give a line over here, let's say something like this. uh, for line in fd.readlines, fd.readlines is going to return us um, a list with all the elements. Now I'm just giving like the lines, print line. Okay, that's all done. And then here we go. What we need to do is write to file is done. Now I want to actually read from file. I'm just giving like no, instead of write operation, we are going to read from file. That's it. So it is a write to file and read from file. Now if I'm running this program, here you can see the data and we are getting extra line. And what we can, how do we handle this? We can actually specify anyway file content is having a /n. We don't need anything here. I can actually specify end is null. Now if I'm running this, then here you can see example of append, example of append, example of append, right? So now it's all set. Like we are able to write to the file and it just keep on going. So now if your requirement is that's fine, I want a line number so that I can understand how many lines was there like earlier and how many lines we are having after the operation. If you are able to recollect, I've just told you enumerate. In enumeration, what we can actually do, we can use like now, for example, here we are using for variable in the list. Then we are actually printing the line. If I are using enumerate, we can actually have index as well. Along with the value, we can actually print the index number. So here I am just giving like line number, and then line in enumerate enumerate of what? Enumerate of this particular list. Okay, so now if I'm enumerating the particular list, here I'm just going to give one thing. This is line number, let's say, followed by whatever we want to actually write it, and you can actually see the content here. Now if I'm running this program, here you can see so far it was not printing lines. Now here you can see the line number zero is like the first line. Then similarly this line number 6. If you feel like okay, that's fine, why line number 0? I want line number 1, so it should be 1 plus 1. Just give a plus 1, you are all set. So now here you can see it is printing like now this is my line number 1 till line number 8. The next example, when I'm going to write, let's say for example, I'm just giving like control shift of 10, then here you can see line number 9. If I'm running this program again, here you can see the line number 10. So this is how the operation will continue. The operation will be like happening multiple times. So with this approach, what we are actually doing, this is a good approach because we are not using the read operations directly. And sometimes the mistake what I'm actually doing here, you can keep on noticing, I'm forgetting to close the descriptor. I'm forgetting to close the descriptor, which is a tedious job. And let's say, for example, you're dealing with multiple files, you may keep on forgetting oh, explicitly I need to close this. So to overcome this particular error, use case for basically right now, instead of fd equals to open file name and then the mode, I'll suggest use with keyword. Let us see the same example. I'll be changing it little bit to make you familiar how to do file operation with, this is the with keyword, with example. Now here we go, the same program, there is no change, but we are going to change something here. If the file is present, so far we are actually using fd equals to open and all these things, right? So don't do that. We can actually do with open file name as fd, and then we can actually go ahead change it out. So this is all done. And with operation, in the previous session I mentioned, like when we are actually going to use with, no need to use explicit like now close operations on the file basically. Okay, but the file descriptor we no need to actually close it. So now let me do the same thing here in the append part too. So I'm just giving here with append, then w as fd, and then here you can see fd dot right, and we need to align it. So done. And then same thing we need to do it in the read operation too. With open the file, then as fd. Why fd always? If you want to actually give fn, that is also fine. We can actually go ahead, use your, instead of fd, we can actually use fn, and we need to align it. That's it. And here we go, close operation is not needed. So this is the best approach, because personally I prefer to use with, and then like now using fd equals to, then opening the file and then explicitly writing the content. So this is how you can actually do it. If I'm running this program again, it is going to do the same thing like what it was doing earlier. It is going to do the same thing. Okay, so now what if I want to actually remove this file? Let's say when file is present, I want to remove. The system should prompt us, hey, this file is present. Do you want to actually remove it? So in that case, how do we do it? Let's say a requirement is I want to create a file, but I will be specifying the path where I want to create the file. So far, I'm just hard coding it. So how do I specify? Like I'll just take the input from the user in which path you want to create this particular file. And based on that, it is going to create the file in that specific directory. What is the file name? What is the directory name? And then based on that, it should actually create the file. So now to do that, let us like go to the example how to do it. So now before we proceed further on file operation, let us spend little bit of time on OS module. Okay, the OS module basically used, like there are a number of operations we can actually do, but if you want like current working directory in Unix, we call it as actual pwd. If you're giving present working directory, current working directory, it is os.getcwd. Now, in Unix, we are having a command like cd. In Python, it is os.csdir. Csdir stands for change directory. Okay. So now, in Unix, we have a command mkdir. Mkdir in Unix. So here we can actually use like os.mkdir. And if you want to actually create the directory structure, mkdir-p we are actually using, here it is os.makedirs. It's not mkdir. Makdir can create only one directory, but makdir cannot create a structure. Let's say, for example, my data demo, demo1, etc. We cannot create that using makdir. We can actually create it using makdirs. So now, if I want to join two paths, let's say I took let's say one like input as the directory, the other input as a file, like in which path I want to create the file and what is my file name, and I want to join it before I pass it to create operation, or before I pass that to like any other thing. Like what we need to do is we need to use like joining the paths. So to do the joining of paths, we need to actually use os.path.join. Okay, and then list of files, it is nothing but here we can say ls command. In the Unix, we are having ls command. Here we have glove, okay, glove, and then we do have list dir. The difference between these two is, let's say I want to list only Python files, star.py files. Let's say I want to use, like I want to process only CSV files, star.csv. I want to process only star.csv and star.dat files. So in those cases, we can actually use glove. but we cannot use wildcards like this, like select everything. So that is not possible in listdir. Listdir can list the directory content, but listdir, using listdir, you cannot actually do the operations like what we can actually do it using glove. Glove is powerful. So there are many other examples of glove, but this is something which is needed for the file operations. Now removing the file, it is os.remove. So this is nothing but our rm command. Okay, rm command. Now we cannot remove directories using rm command, like in Linux. Similarly, we cannot remove directories using remove method. What we need to do is, we cannot do this. If you give this like ways.remove then to the directory name, we are definitely going to get error saying like, no, this is a directory, I cannot actually remove that. So now to remove the directory, it is ways.rmdir, and in Unix or Linux, we do have a command like rmdir to remove the empty directory. But if the directory is empty, what if the directory is not empty? If the directory is not empty, what we need to do is, we need to use another util that is known as, another package that is known as shutil. In shutil, we can actually do rmtree. Okay, and let's say for example, if I want to know what are the operations are available in shutil, shutil dot you can give, you can actually do is change the ownership, move the file, move is mb, memb, copy, rm tree, all these things are actually copy the tree, I mean the entire structure, copy the file, copy file objects, copy mode, we can actually copy with like, for example, source to destination, then follow symbolic links. Unix also we do have that particular option, right? So we can actually give that option. So this is a powerful utility. And just remember, right now, even to be very honest, I'm not actually familiar with all the methods, whatever is actually available with OS or available with uh, like shutil. It will be difficult to buy at everything. If we know like how to make the things done, it will be very easy for you. Let's say if you know shutil is like move, copy, removing the entire directory structure, moving the files between one directory to other directory, changing the ownership, then you can actually go ahead and find it out. Let's say we do have let's say disk utilization, right? Let's say we can actually specify disk utilization of this path, right? So let's say, let us explore right now all these options through examples. Let us uh, write a program, Python file. I'm just saying here OS model example. Before we move ahead, go ahead with the remaining file operation topics. So just let us get familiar with some basics which is needed here. Now to use OS, I need to actually import OS. There are various ways to import the module and use the package. Guys, remember in OS we do have many things. The moment I'm giving like import OS, right? If giving like import OS, then it is going to available like all the methods will be available. All the methods you can see there are like many other things are actually available. So now we have list directory, change directory, make directory, current directory, make dirs, get cwd, and then remove, and then write, and all these things are actually there. Okay, so now here, if I'm actually giving one thing like now, I'm just giving, let's say, file name equals to, hope you remember all these things, input, and enter a file name, or enter the file name. Okay, so here it will be in the file name. Now we want to check if the file is present. Now here I'm just giving if, yeah, or directly I'm just giving like print os dot path dot exist. Okay, then I can actually give your file name. It will be printing true or false. Now if I'm running this program, here you see it is asking me to enter file name. I'm just giving demo 33.txt. If I'm not giving any path, OS is actually going to process the file from the current directory. We have created the demo1, demo.txt, but demo33 we have not yet created. That is going to give me false. If I'm running the same program and just giving here, I've created demo.txt while ago. Let me see if it is there. It is saying demo.txt is also not there. Really? Why demo.txt is not there? Let me see if I'm having demo.txt. Okay, it's saying like it is not there. One moment, guys. So demo.txt, it is not there. Okay, that's fine. So we can actually say like data.txt. I can see. So we can actually go ahead and run the program with data.txt. Data.txt. It is saying like no, data.txt is actually present. It is true. Now look at here. This is how you can actually check the file. Now the question is, I want to create a file. I want to create a file in a specific directory, not in the current directory. Let's say, for example, C colon demo, I want to create a directory. Now, how do I tell the OS or how do I tell the system that go to the path and check if directory is present or not? If it is not present, then create the directory. Now, here I'm just checking like now my data dir equals to input enter the data dir name. Data dir, let's say you are working on a data load script and you want to take input as like now from which dir you want to actually process the data and store it in a database. Now you can actually do this way. My data dir equal to input enter the data dir. Okay, I'll just check this, then I'll just check if it is really present before I go ahead create it. So I can definitely use the same syntax here. If the os.path, then the directory is already present, my data dir is already present, then we can actually print or directly we can create it mkdir, let's say not os this part dir, then os dot mkdir, os.mkdir, and then here I can specify make dir my data directory. Okay, now I'm just giving print data directory created. And what is my data directory? It is like my data dir. That's it. If the directory doesn't present, like see here, my data directory, it is the input from the user. It is going to check, this piece of code is going to check whether the directory is present. If you are actually familiar with shell, it is like just the same thing. We can actually do it in shell using what? Using the option like now let me tell you, the option is -d. It is like in shell, if you're familiar with if-d, then dir name with path, right? So to do this in Python, we are actually doing this. If the directory is present or not, we are actually checking os.path exists, and type and all, it is quite possible, but that is like no different discussion altogether. So now let us say like whether it is present or not. If it is not present, then go ahead and create it. If it is not present, if it is present, then we can say data directory present. Okay, my data dir. Now let us see. Now I'm running this program. It is saying data directory. I'm just saying like no, data directory is c:\demo or c:/. I'm just giving like no demo. Now look at here what it is saying. The data directory created. The data directory created because demo was not present. Newly created directory is demo. Now enter the file name. I'm just giving here let's say emp.txt. It is saying emp.txt not present. we need to create the emp.txt file. Demo file is created. If I am going to run the same program and give the input as like C:/demo again, if I'm running this program, here you can see I'm just giving C:/demo. Here it is saying data directory is present. Earlier it was the previous execution, we got the message saying directory was created. Now it is present. Now requirement is the directory is present, that's fine. Now I want to create the file. If the file is not present, it will go ahead, create the file in the path. Which path? Like my data directory. Okay. So how do we do it? Now here after the my directory data directory is created, let us change the directory to my data dir. How do we do it? It is os dot change dir, then my data dir. That's it. It's easy. See here, it is just cd my data dir. If you do it in Linux, it is like cd my data dir. It is like a dollar my data dir. So it is in Linux. The same thing we are doing ways.csdir. If you correlate, you can actually understand the things pretty fast. Okay, so now let us change the directory. So that is ways.csdir is done. Now to create the file, we are having various commands in Linux. vi we can use, emac we can use, we can actually use cat, we can actually use touch, and there are various utilities, various ways we can actually create the files, right? But here, if I'm going to create the file, if the file is not present, I'm just taking the input as file name, then checking if the file is present. If not, then I'm just going to say if not ways.path.exist file name, go ahead, create it. Now, how do we create it? I can actually go ahead. There are various ways again. Like for now, I'm just going to do a file operation. So now the file operation, I'm just going to do fd equals to, or we can say with weapon. If the file is not present, I think something is going on here. So now, if the file name is not present, we are actually checking, okay, the file name is actually not present. And then I want to create this file with write mode because this file is not at all present as fd. Then here I'm just giving print. Print is not required. We can directly give write line. Write actually fd.write, not write line, fd.write. Okay, so fd.write what? Let's say sample data. This is the first line with exclusive /n. So we are done. So fd.write is all set. Now we have checked the directory. If it is not there, we have created it, then changing the directory. Now we are actually trying to create a file, and here you notice we are not using the what you can say, the directory name. I'm not using the directory name. I'm just telling like now, let's say if it is mydata.txt, let us see whether the mydata.txt is getting created in the demo directory or it is not getting created. We'll actually go ahead, see that. Now let us see like what's going to happen. Let us see. Now here we go, the file has been created. So let us read the content. Now I'm just going to check here. Before I check in which directory this file has been created, let us see whether it is really created in demo, because we did a csdir, but we explicitly did not specify in open file name whether system is able to create the file in my data dir, or it is creating the file in the same dir where the program is present. That is what we are actually validating right now. Okay, so now let us look at it. So now what I'm going to do here is let us read the content. with pen. Again, I'm just not specifying. I'm not specifying like the path. I'm just directly giving file name. Now here I'm just giving like nar read as fd. Then for line in fd.read lines, fd.read lines, not read lines, fd.read lines, and then I want to print the lines. Well, let me print like a line. Let us see. I'm running this program. Stop and run. Okay. So now here you go. Enter the data directory. I'm just giving c://demo. c://demo or /demo. I'll tell you like why we are giving double slash. The data directory is present. Now I'm just saying my data dot txt. Now it is saying sample data. This is the first line. My data.txt is actually present, but it did not tell us where it is present. Now we are actually going to verify programmatically and like whether it has created the file or not. Let us list the demo dir. Okay, I'm trying my best to give you a real-time example, like how do you do it programmatically, then switching between the screens and then checking whether it is actually created or not created in the backend. Let us get familiar here. Okay, now os.listdir, I'm just giving my data dir, and I want to print the content. So I'm just giving print statement here, printf was.mydata.dir. Now here we go. So this is my data.txt file, and I'm just going to hear the file again. Now F10, Control Shift F10, enter the data. Now c:/demo. Demo is already present. Now my data 1.txt. Now it is saying my data.txt and data1.txt. See here, guys, it has created sample data. It has created earlier example. I have used my data. Now I have created my data1.txt. Now here you can see the data and data1.txt. Now it is actually returning as a list. So now if we want to print it like in a better format, what you can actually do, you can see for let's say file number, file name, or we can say like a text file name or input file in file name, infn in file name, and then in os.listdir of this, and then here I can say print. We need to enumerate it. It is a list, so let us enumerate of os of listdir, and then print. This is file number, then followed by input file name, in fnm, or I'm just giving fname, in fnme. Okay, so now here we go. If I'm running this program, here you can see what is the data directory. I'm just giving c:/demo again. It is present. Now I'm just giving my data3.csv. Now here you see it is actually created 3 files: my data.txt, my data1.txt, my data3.txt. Now it is not printing the file number, so you can increment it by 1. Now here we go, Control Shift F10 again. Here we see c:/, let's say demo. Now the data directory is actually present, and then I'm just giving my python demo dot dat. Okay, now here saying like now I have created 4 files, and these 4 files have been created in my data dir list. My data dir, what is my data dir? My data dir in the input I'm just using like now c:/demo. Now it's all fine, but I want to list only the CSV files. whatever is created here, like not txt file or csv file, how do I list it? Okay, let us list it's only the csv files or txt files. Okay, so now what I can do here is, if I go ahead and execute this, will not able to list dir, it doesn't support any option. If I'm giving like focusing on list dir, let us see the documentation what it is saying. It is saying return a list containing the names of files in the directory. Path can be specified either by string, bytes, or anything like this, but it doesn't support any options. Okay, any options. So now to do this, what we need to do is we need another library here. What is that library? The library is shutil. Okay, so now shutil is done here. Now here I want to sorry, I don't need actually shutil. I need globe here. Import globe, and shutil like for rename, copy, and all these operations. So globe we are going to use it. Okay, so now here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it little differently, but my requirement is I want to list the CSV files. I want to list the CSV files in the data dir. So how do we do it? So there is a path joining. So the path joining, how do we do it here? The path joining, I'm just going to do it here. Like let us join the path. Let us join the path. Let's say my path or my required files, my required CSV files or txt files equals to os.join os.path.join I can actually give what is my requirement. My requirement is my data dir followed by I want to join star.csv files. Okay, so this is how we need to csv or txt files or whatever it is, like not txt files. Okay, because we are giving txt files, let me use txt files. Now I want to have the txt files here, right? So my data file, so I'm just using the path and everything is all set. So now here I want to do one thing. Let me print it like now directly, like print globe.globe, okay, and then path name. Path name is what? My required text files. Now let me run this program again. Running this program, it is saying like now give the path. I'm just giving c:/demo, and then here it is demo is present. I'm just giving my data 5.txt, and then here you can see there's interesting one. See here list here it was giving all the five. But globe we are actually using star.txt. In the star.txt it is returning these are the text files which are actually present in my data directory, that is demo. So now here if you can go ahead see this is my demo dir which is having a lot of files over there. Okay, that's all fine. Now I want to actually list it like now how we are actually listing it, only txt files like in a better format. How do we do it? The same thing I'm going to do it here. I'm just going to use for loop, and then I'm just going to use instead of like list dir waste.list dir, I'm just going to use, because it again returns a list and we can actually use enumerate to get a index number and all. And then here you can see fn+1 I've just given. So print text files are, here are the text files. That's it. If I'm running this, you can see it here. Let's say I'm just giving c:/demo, and here I'm just giving enter the file name. I'm just giving like supu.txt, and then here you can see these are the text files. It has created 6 files so far. These are the text files which are actually created. That's all fine. It is all fine, but my requirement is I want to rename the my data3.csv file, my data3.csv file to my data3.txt file. Renaming. So how do we rename? Let us rename datafile.csv to datafile.txt. Okay, how do we do it? To rename it, we cannot. Let's say, for example, if I go here, if you see like waste dot, if I give rename, the thing rename is actually here. We can actually rename source, then destination, source, destination, source dir, then destination dir. Okay, this is what we can do. Or renames, it is like now rename or renames we can actually use, then old and new. Let us see if I'm executing waste.rename directly. I'm just going it here, waste.rename, waste, or else we can do one thing. I'll just write another program where we'll be like not dealing with, anyway we are familiar like it is C:\demo only. We'll be dealing with these files. Let me write another program instead of entering all the details again and again. So now let me see OS demo example 2. So what is my path? Import OS, and I'm just going to check what is my content. I can actually copy paste the section whatever is actually present here. Here we go, and then I'm directly giving the file like now, and there we have used variables. Here I'm just directly giving, just give me the list of text files, or list of all the files basically, C:// and then here I'm just giving demo, whatever is that. Like why I'm actually using / here. Think about my name is like my directory name is like /n followed by nemo, nemo. Then in this case, system cannot actually understand this. System will be treating this as this /n character. So while dealing with Windows type path, then I'll recommend to use // irrespective of what is the next character. Some characters like /n, /t, / like whatever the characters we are having, like new line, tab, and other characters like /r and all, right? So let's say Remo. If I'm giving Remo, it is saying like /r system is detecting that like /r carries return. So now to overcome this, we have to actually give like // so always better like Windows type path, use // so let us write, this will be like last program for today. So now here we go. Yep. fn+1, then the file name, all the files basically we are going to list from here. If I'm running this program, here you can see globe is not there. Okay, fine. So we need to OS not required, it's globe required here. Import globe, and we need actually OS to remove the files and rename the files. We'll do that. Now look at here. If I'm running this program, here you can see it is not printing anything because we have not given this pattern. So I'm just giving the pattern here. I'm running the program. Here you can see for fn and name in enumerate globe.globe C:/, it I got it, my mistake, it is demo. I was wondering like now why it is not working. So now here we go. If I'm running this program, here saying like C:/demo. If you are not specifying what you want to display, it is going to display the directory only if it is present. What if the directory is not present? Something like this we are having, we don't have this, right? So globe is not going to throw any error. Globe is going to display null. So now if you are having like demo, we know our program is demo, and then I want like star all files, control setup 10. Here you can see these are the 6 files present in /demo. My requirement is I want to rename my data3.csv file. Now let me do a csdir. Without csdir also we can rename, but let us do this. Okay, let us get familiar again with csdir. Csdir of I'm just giving like C:\, demo, rename, and here I'm just going to rename of what? Rename of data3.csv to data3.txt. Now rename. Here we are going to rename the uh, demo my data3.txt file, my data3. Sorry, I did not copy. So let me copy it again. So here we go. It's rename, and then here you can give .txt. Okay, and the same program we are going to run it again and to see whether it has been renamed or not. Okay, so now if I'm running this program, let us see here what it is doing. Demo3, the data3.txt, my data3.txt CSV has been renamed to my data3.txt. Okay, it's all done. What if the file is not present? Let's say first time it has renamed. To understand it, I'm just telling you here, it was my data3.csv, line number 3. Here you can see it has been renamed to data3.txt. If you are actually trying to rename a file which is not present, what it is going to give, let us see. It is saying going to give like file not found error. File not found. Same as Linux, same as Unix, same as Windows. If file is not present, we are going to get file not found error. Which file not found? Like it is trying to rename mine data3, like not trying to rename the file mine data3.csv to mine data3.txt, but that is not there. That is the reason why it is failing. Now, okay, that's all fine. We want to actually delete. This is the last example for today's session. So now here we go. Python file, OS model. Let's say remove. I want to remove the file. Remove the what files? I want to remove. Let's say I want to remove the same data3 file or all the txt files. How do I do it? Let's say ways.remove, as I mentioned in the beginning of the session, right? Ways.remove can actually delete files. It cannot actually delete any other thing. So now let me go to ways.csdir. Then our file is like C://demo. And then ways.remove, what I'm going to do is like let's say I want to actually remove let's say I'm just going to give like star.txt file. I'm just removing everything. Let us see whether it is actually going to delete that, going to throw any error. We'll actually see like what kind of error message we are going to get it. Control Shift F10. Okay, so what it is saying, Ways error, the file name, directory name, or volume label syntax error is actually incorrect. We cannot do this. We cannot actually give like wildcard, like star or some matches and all these things. We cannot actually do this. Now, out this line and see whether we are actually going to this directory and then checking all the files or not, right? So here you can see globe. Okay, fine. Import globe. We are using globe here, right? So now here we go. If I'm giving here, that's fine. Here you can see all the 6 files are actually there. So now how do I delete all the text files, all the txt files? So now if you cannot actually do this way, we cannot do this. We cannot do this way. There are better ways available, but let us right now use the method like this. Let's say demo.txt star.txt. Okay, and we don't need actually enumeration here. Let's say I'm just giving you directly fn as in file name. File name in star.txt, enumeration is not required. Globe.globe, and then followed by this. This is the syntax. There is no shortcut to no shortcut actually. Okay, now here we can actually give ways.remove, and I can actually specify here like fn. Now if I run this program, here you can see there is no output. Okay, that's fine. I want to no files are there, and glove is not going to throw any error. We have seen in the previous example. Now I want to do os.listdir of the same directory, and to verify whether the content has been removed or not, the txt files have been removed or not. That okay, list here we need to print it, or we can actually loop it through a for loop and then see the content in a well organized format. So it is saying only the data file is actually present, nothing else is present. Now we have realized, okay, the demo is actually present. What if I'm going to do one thing? I'm just going to say, hey, os dot system, go ahead, remove the directory. Remove the directory of what? Remove the directory. Here I can use the same directory name here. Okay. Now same directory name here. Now if I'm giving os.rmdir and running the program Control Shift F10, here you can see it is saying permission error. We cannot actually delete this because it's used by another process and all these things are actually there. Okay, we cannot delete. RMDIR is to delete only empty DIRs, so we cannot do this way. We'll able to delete only empty DIR. Then what is the solution here? The solution here is import shutil. Shutil, okay. So now here I'm just going to do one thing, shutil dot remove tree, rm tree, and then I can actually say remove this, and then once this is done, I'm just going to do one thing, going to list c:\demo, whether it is present or not present, able to delete or not able to delete, we'll see. Now here we go. Now here you can see the rmdir path. Okay, cannot be, okay, one thing, my path. Okay, just 1 minute. Am I missing anything? Just give me a second. Control Shift F10. No, it is deleted actually. Okay, demo, you can see it here, it is deleted. So if I go ahead, print, maybe we are trying to see the content which is already deleted. I could have actually given c:\\. Okay, now if I'm giving here c:\\, let us see here. Here you can see recycle bin, access, automations. Demo directory is still present. Demo directory has not been deleted. So now how we can actually identify the demo directory, how to delete it? Now we can definitely, the directory tree is actually deleted. Now we can actually try to remove it using os.rmdir demo. In this case, what it is going to do, it is going to definitely delete the demo. Let us see here. I'm just putting this message here. Now run the program. Okay. The process cannot access the file because it is already used. Is it like some file or some program is actually already using it? Let me see if I've opened it or it is being used by something else. Demo1.txt, myeditor.csv, and okay, let me see it. Okay, somehow the program has gone. So we'll do one thing. I'll just identify now this is correct only what we are actually doing. Only thing is I need to figure it out why it is not getting deleted. Okay, where is the program? Somewhere it has gone. Okay, that's fine. So we'll actually keep on exploring the error in our upcoming session, the same error where whatever we are actually getting, we are going to explore it, and then we'll also learn about a little bit about shutil and how to get familiar with RM tree and other things. Okay, so we'll keep on exploring, and thank you all.